I think the social acceptability of failing in business, building a business, and succeeding a business has entered into Indian students' mindset. Compared to 5 years before, where people are more focused on the jobs, they are now realizing that there is more value for them to become an entrepreneur and become a job creator. So students should look at the course profile of the MBA program or bachelor program and try to see how these courses are composed. In our university, I have reduced workload one-third, class-based workload. I'm a professor of marketing. I don't teach Kotler anymore.
What do stats say?
I think the best option is to look at the alumni and the existing students.
Today, we are having Dr. Tapan Panda with us, who is Pro VC of MIT WPU. Dr. Panda, a warm welcome to shiksha.com.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for this conversation.
First and foremost, what will be your tips to students in order to help them secure a good course of their choice?
People judge the value of a school or a program by the placement that they get, the kind of placement they get. But if you can look at last 3 to 4 years, I think the orientation is more towards entrepreneurship. People have realized that they can create more value compared to 5 years before, where people are more focused on the jobs. They are now realizing that there is more value for them to become an entrepreneur and become a job creator. I think the social acceptability of failing in business, building a business, and succeeding a business has entered into Indian students' mindset. So parallelly, people are also looking at whether they are learning about startups, whether they are learning about how they can get investments. So business school roles have changed. I think there is a hybrid model which is emerging, and that today's students should look for both, not necessarily into choosing a program and joining into a job profile, but an opportunity to build an enterprise in future period of time. And I also strongly believe if you have created that kind of an ecosystem where you have angel investors, you have people who are coming to campus, and where they have got access to capital, I think this is a new model which is emerging. And many of the IIMs have started doing it, and there will be a percolating down effect, and others will try to do that part. This is when you are measuring on the output side. But on the process side, there are 2-3 ways of, I wrote a piece in business standards on that. So there are courses which are called doing courses. There are the courses called knowing courses. And there are courses called being courses. I got these ideas when I started working with Professor Srikant Dattar in his research when he was writing his book here. I was at Great Lakes at that time. So there are certain courses which you can call as skill-based courses, which is doing courses. There are certain courses which are emerging areas, whether the program has those emerging subjects or not. And there are courses which makes the student to realize the goals of that course in a longer period of time. We call as being courses. So students should look at the course profile of the MBA program or bachelor program and try to see how these courses are composed, not the way of whether there's an accounting course or a marketing course or a finance course, but for a long-term success, how these course components have got into the program design and how they are being delivered. Are they delivered in a classroom setting? Are they delivered through simulations? Are there problem-solving approaches which are being taught inside the classroom? Are there engagements outside the classroom? For example, in our university, I have reduced workload one-third, class-based workload. Earlier, the course was 45 hours. I said, you please learn those 45 hours, 30 hours inside the classroom, but get 15 hours outside. Try to learn and get it outside. So that's why experiential learning becomes very important. So next level of question that the students should ask, how much of the pedagogy, what kind of pedagogy is being used, and how much is experiential learning? Because seeing and believing is fine, but doing in the field is more important to acquire that skill faster. The third part will be, of course, how much of technology embedded it is, because today it is very difficult to imagine a business program without technology. Whatever internet did to information, blockchain is doing to transaction. Whether the course is really embedded in information technology and technology evolutions into the design or not. I think these are some things which a student who is really serious about a program should look for.
Would you say that while selecting a college or an institute, a student should consider the stature of a college and institution before the selection of the course?
If you put in front of me a good school where he is getting a program which is not very attractive or the content is not attractive versus an average school where they have updated the content and it is industry ready, then I'll probably go and prefer the second part of it than just looking at the brand part of it. And just looking at the brand part will take you to some distance, but you will be always lagging behind because what is being delivered inside the classroom are something which was planned 20, 30 years. I'm a professor of marketing. I don't teach Kotler anymore. I read Kotler. I have a book of marketing, very popular book in marketing.
how and where students will get these insights?
I think the best option is to look at the alumni and the existing students. Because existing students, senior students, they will never give a biased view. They will always give a neutral view. And you can track out how your alumni are doing last 5 years, particularly which are the organizations they have recruited, how many of them have been into new generation organizations. LinkedIn is enough for them to go look at. Shiksha is required to look at. People go and post about their options there. But it should not be just a first level. It's a branding professor. We'd make choice at two levels, at the category levels and at the brand levels. If you have a category levels, probably look at cut up of the school, ranking of the school, you do that. But you have to come down to the brand level and see the design of the program, kind of placements which have happened, what are the new content which has come into the process there, which doesn't happen in a traditional state university because they take 4 5 years to update course. But there are new generation universities which are very agility, very high level of agility, and many schools go and update their content there.
Now, what are new age PG programs? How are they different from regular PG programs? And what special is MIT WPU doing? Please explain.
Okay, I think the first part of that part is how do you really distinguish the graduate attribute wise, right? First is graduate attribute wise. Are you creating a manager who grows up and becomes a vice president, a general manager retires, or he has enough of the skills to lead the organization, to become a CX or CEO level? I think what a good MBA program should do is should look for building the problem solving capabilities, critical thinking capabilities, and creative thinking capabilities, other than teaching them about marketing, finance, and HR. But the focus should have been building these three parts. If you have trained your students on these 3 4 capabilities, these students are ready for the future. So that is the distinction that we can make. If you look at a Ramcharan School of Leadership, there's a very clear-cut mandate by Professor Ramcharan. He says that you should choose students who will be in couple of years, 10 years period of time when I am not there. He's 80 plus. I'm saying when I am also not there. Those who have the potential to become a leader. So when I select a student in Ramcharan School of Leadership, I don't have to look at his managerial capacities. I have to look at his leadership capabilities and try to see at one level how do I mentor the student and groom the student to become a leader in the future period of time in corporate ladder, not political leader, but in the corporate ladder. So the approach of schools have to undergo a business schools have to undergo a change, and that is what the student has to identify. That is what Shiksha and other people should highlight about that, rather than just talking about the rank of the school. What are the changes which have happened in that case? I met somebody who did his MBA in 1950s, right? And when he returned back to India, he didn't get a job because nobody knew about MBA. MBAs came in India in the late 1960s and 60s when IIMs came into picture there. So today, who is at number one? We understand it doesn't take much time them to drop down and somebody else to take over because everybody thinks in the way what we call as growth hackers. You must be also working on those lines that you don't like linear growth. So if the organizations are thinking in a growth hacking way, why not somebody's career to be in a growth hacking way? So in my time, probably somebody in the 50s will be interested to become a vice president. Today, 30-year-old says he wants to become vice president. Or if you don't care about that, he'll come out and he will start his own startup, right? So that time length is coming down. And that is where the challenge for the business school to look at.
Please elaborate about the selection criteria, admission process in total at MIT WPU.
Admission process input will be definitely the qualifying examination, CAT or GMAT or the test that they have done. But that is not a necessary condition. We look at the other aspects also. When they come here, there are 5 ways to have the problem solving skills. So create a situation while interviewing them whether the student has got the problem solving skills or not. The method of selection at the PI stage is a bit different compared to other schools because we always look for some glimpses, some sparks of those components which we are trying to build into the system.
Can you please give a brief to the students specifically who are watching this video? What kind of courses, what kind of different schools MIT WPU provides?
There is an engineering domain, most of the computing, petroleum engineering, chemical engineering, materials engineering, very powerful programs we run there. The second category of programs are, of course, business programs, business, economics, commerce, accounting programs at bachelor and master's level, both of them. We have 4 schools there. Then third one comes about health sciences, yoga, because there's a component of peace, which is there because it's World Peace University. So health sciences, yoga, that comes. And the fourth one is completely creative side. You have a school of design, you have a school of liberal arts, you have got a school of law. In that school, we have started the International School of Filmmaking. It's named after Dadasaheb Phalke.
When we speak about the placements record in MIT WPU in 2023, what do stats say?
Oh, stats are very good. This year has been very good compared to last year. I can fairly say that whatever numbers we had achieved last year in terms of average salary and in terms of number of jobs offered, I have a growth of more than 60%, 60.
And if I speak about the average salaries in MBA and engineering domain, what would that be in
I
2023?
told you that it has gone 60% higher compared to last year. Our model is our ROI is 10 to 15 months. So if you know our fees, you can find out what are our average salaries. That's the instruction which is given to them that the students should recover all his tuition fees and investments between 10 months to 15 months period of time. If a company who comes to campus which offers a salary which is beyond the ROI of 15 months, we don't permit them. If they are willing, they should come. My students should recover 2 years of his investments in maximum 15 months period of time.
Kind of courses like BCA and BBA, what do MIT offers, and the requirement and importance of giving specializations in these programs?
At bachelor level, specialization is very important because when you have an entry level job and you want to go to banking and there's retail banking, you need to understand retail banking in detail. You cannot have a general BBA program and the company has to spend money. So when somebody goes to a senior management program, I think it should be more general, right? Focusing all areas. When it is an entry level job, a person is always ahead. When I hire a faculty as an assistant professor, I don't hire an assistant professor for a strategy course. I hire him for marketing or finance or HR. But after 10 years, when I look at a professor, I expect them to teach a strategy course. Same thing in the industry. Number of jobs available at the verticals, at the entry levels are very functional focus.
What should be the criteria for a student in order to select a college of his choice?
I think first thing they should listen. Internet and social media is enough to talk about that part. Listen, there are two kind of media. No? One kind of media is a sponsored media. Other one is called earned media. Look at what is their earned, what the school has earned in that online reputation part of it. Second, what are the sunrise industries? Where are the jobs? If you're looking for a course which will lead to the jobs, if there is a job growth in insurance sector which is running at 27% and CAGR, or you're looking at agribusiness which is growing at 20%, does the school have a program like that or not? Or you may be having a FMCG job and the growth rate is only 4%, and you hundreds of you are fighting for that part. Whether there are jobs into the rising industries or not, if they are, it's a nice option to look for. And then of course you look at the design of the course, kind of faculty those who are there, previous placement records, what is the ROI the school follows. These are the criteria which you can look for while selecting a program.
Thank you so much, Dr. Panda. Those were great insights from you, especially on the course selection and college selection, and then about MIT WPU. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.